Good morning, y'all. Near going on 12 o'clock Alabama time. The weather is absolutely beautiful here. And yes, I'm in tank tops and shorts and flip-flops today. But I looked at my weather for the long-range forecast, and guess what? We're going to go down into 37 sometime next week, and the high is only going to be in the low 50s. Yeah, so I'm going to take advantage of this beautiful weather when I can get out and get some vitamin D. No makeup today because I'm doing a lot of outside work. And I know many of you have said that y'all enjoy it when I share scripture. So before I share anything, can't think of a better way than to share some scripture with you, because my Bible verse or Bible reading this morning came from Titus chapter 2. And the verse for today says, "For the grace of God." Okay, I'm going to slow down. I forget that Rebecca Charles and another lady from England said I need to slow down because they're having a hard time understanding because they're from the UK. So I'm going to slow that back down just a little bit, and I'm going to try to keep in mind to talk a little bit slower. But back to that Bible verse, Titus chapter 2, verse 11 and 12. "For the grace of God that bringeth salvation hath appeared to all men, teaching us that, denying ungodliness and worldly lust, we should live soberly, righteously, and godly in this present world." Well, I know it is a sin to add to or take from God's word, and that's not what I'm trying to do here. But every time I read that last part where it says to live soberly, righteously, and godly in this present world, in my mind I always say in this evil world, because it's an evil world we live in. And I could talk all day about that. But y'all know, you live in it too. You know what I'm talking about. So that was my Bible verse sharing for this morning or today. I have been, I guess you can say, I feel like sometimes I have bit off more than I can chew. That's just me. You know, I got my garden. I should have been out there working in it this morning because I said that's what I was going to do today. I have yet to get out there. But I'm that person that gets one project after another and never finishes one. Yeah. So I'm going to talk a little bit about one of my projects this morning. It is a hobby. I like to paint. I like to go to thrift stores, yard sales, and find things that other people don't want, that's kind of worn or not necessarily worn, just needs a good coat of paint. I like taking things and turning them into something pretty. And that's what I do. But this is also, I'm going to share this video with a friend of mine who also has the same type hobby. She does a lot of chalk paint. She goes and she resells things. But for her case is a little bit different than mine. She does it to make money and to support she and her husband. They fell on some hard times about a year or so ago because her husband got sick, out of work, and so she came up with the idea of getting furniture, painting, reselling, flipping, basically, just to make it short and simple. She flips furniture. And that's exactly how I met her, because when Ron and I moved up to this place that we live at now, I had a couple of pieces of furniture that I couldn't use, and I advertised it very low priced because I wanted to get rid of it. And she came and got it. She bought it from me. And I told her the first time I met her, I says, well, when you get through painting it, send me a picture. I want to see what you've done to it. Oh, y'all, it was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. She does really good work. So it's not like I'm taking her idea. This is something that I was kind of doing before we met. But if y'all buy things on Facebook Marketplace, such as someone that has flipped a piece of furniture, whether it's a chair, a rocker, bar stools, chest of drawers, whatever, and you look and the person, like my friend, has put time and effort and money into it, don't think what they're asking is a ridiculous price, because I started this, like I said, because I like doing it. And who doesn't like to make a little bit of money on the side from doing things like this? So I just want to let y'all know, like any hobby, nothing's cheap, and especially today. I'm just gonna, for your information, just give you an idea of the cost of paint that we use to paint whatever project is we're working on. A little jar of paint like this cost near $15. I don't know what it is, what that would be equivalent to, but in the other countries, but yeah, a little jar like this is $15. Well, you can't just paint everything that you do. I mean, you can, but you know, you want to have a little variety in what you're doing. If you got something that needs to be cleaned down, like it's got a varnish on it and you can't chalk paint it, you have to buy this. This also is about $15. And if it's a big product, I mean a big piece, and you need, you know, you're going to need more paint, this little booger right here is about $20. And if there's something that you don't want to fool with chalk painting and you want to spray paint it, this stuff ain't cheap either. You know, usually you're only going to be able to spray the paint, spray, whatever you want to say, one small piece, and this is anywhere from 4 to 6 depending on where you buy it. But that may not seem too expensive, but and let me tell y'all, it's not an easy job. It's really not. Now, some pieces, they are easy, but when you get a rocker like this right here that I've already put myself, I've probably put about at least 3 hours in painting that thing. When you have to go in, this may be boring to y'all, but I'm just trying to put this out there. When you have to go in and you have to paint all these spindles one by one, it's time consuming. And then if you miss something, you got to go back. So that's all I'm saying there. So y'all, if y'all buy stuff off of Marketplace, or you know somebody that chalk paints, don't think they're gouging you. I know, and I'm not trying to talk out of both sides of my mouth. As always, there's always going to be people out there that's going to try to gouge you. But for the most part, I don't think so. They're just wanting back what they've put into it with products and time, and try to make a little bit of a profit. And I don't blame anybody for doing that. So I just thought I'd like to share that with y'all today. And another thing, several of y'all have told me about the videos. I know I mentioned this last night in the live, but even in the live again last night, a couple of y'all were telling me that you'd be watching it and it would just cut off and say it's a private video. Well, like I just told, I think it was either Janet or Rebecca, because they were two that I can remember, I can call to mind, that said they got cut off too. And I said, well, I said, it was just like that first video, the first makeup video that, excuse me, the first makeup video I did had no comments. I mean, y'all, I'll say it again, loud and clear. I am technically challenged. I'm not ashamed. But on a good note, most of my kids are not technically challenged. So once I found out there were no comments on that first video, I got my 16-year-old and I said, figure this out for me. Well, within just a short time, he had it figured out. And so where I could see comments or people could comment. So, Lord willing, tonight when he gets home, if he's not too whooped from working, I will get him to look at the videos and see if he can take care of it for me. Wish me luck. It is absolutely beautiful here, y'all. Look at this. Look at that. Yeah, we need some yard work done, but you know, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes I feel like I have bit off more than I can chew, and that's why I decided today, you know what? I'm gonna take care of some of those loose strings that are hanging. The furniture, getting that, my furniture, I've got like 5 or 6 pieces that I still have to finish. And I'm like, I'm gonna do my best to take care of that today and get that over with. And then, because I put my chicken in the crock pot this morning, supper will be taken care of. I'm doing Greek chicken for supper tonight. And it smells heavenly inside the house right now. And knowing that I know what I'm doing for supper, hopefully if I can get a couple of more pieces finished, I will get out in my garden. Because I really want to get my seeds in the ground. I bought I showed y'all last night on that video, several packets of seeds. And I'd like to get that going and get that over with. Well, this was just a little short break for me for right now. And yeah, I'm trying to soak in some sun. So hopefully I'm, probably getting some sun. And it's hot out here, but I love it. And CC asked, what color was that Nivea? The little lipstick or chapstick thing I use. All I can tell you is pink. I mean, I will maybe look back on the tube just to specify it, but I've been in the drugstores and I've already seen it, and they've got like the black cherry, which is kind of a reddish pretty color. They've got the pink. I want to say they've got kind of like a gold color. So yeah, I like that stuff. Well, and paint on my hands. So y'all, and Rebecca and Janet, I think, or it might have been Callie. I don't know. I hope I talk slow enough for y'all because, okay, I am going to say this here real fast. I told y'all about my wonderful friend Marion that lives in the UK, in Leamington. And the first time that we actually ever talked on the phone, I had to tell her, could you please slow down? I can barely understand what you're saying. But the more we talked, the more I understood her. And sometimes when we would be FaceTiming and my kids would step in and she would be talking and they would look at me, what is she saying, Mom? And I would just laugh. I'm like, how can you not understand that? I can understand that. But it's all good. You know, it's just what you get used to. Well, ladies, I will go and get back at it. And what is today? Tuesday? Today's Tuesday, so we have church tomorrow. which means I will be putting makeup on tomorrow. And, oh, and then see another thing. When I'm talking about biting off more than I can chew, my hobby, my chalk painting, spray painting, whatever you want to call it. I got the garden. Always got housework. I've got one of my sons is going to be getting married a week from this Saturday. I got to prepare for that. I got to go find something at the thrift store, y'all. Y'all probably think I'm the cheapest woman you've ever come across. I don't buy new clothes. Rarely. I'll just say this, 80% of what I wear comes from thrift stores. And it tickles me so because I think I'm safe to say 9 out of 10 events I go to, you can say kind of conceited or tooting your own horn, but I'm going to say it. 9 out of 10 events I've been to in the past, I'm about the best dressed there, and it comes from the thrift store. I cannot see going out and paying $80, $90 and above for one dress you're probably only going to wear one time when I can get it at a thrift store for $5 or less. So yeah, about the only thing that I buy brand new are like the garments, you know what, you get my drift, and maybe tennis shoes. But I get dress shoes from the thrift store too. So if you want to save money, y'all go check those thrift stores out. If you want a new hobby, go to the thrift store, get you a small little thing, go get you some paint, paint it away and keep it for yourself, or flip it and make you some money. Okay, y'all, I am going to get back at it. And Lord willing, if I don't see you anymore today, I will try to get back on here with a makeup video. Y'all enjoy it. Hope it's beautiful where y'all are too. See y'all.